Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. We are Monday, the 27th of October 2025. Yes, we're barreling down towards winter eventually, which I think we're going to have more trails in the sky. But nevertheless, we do have a trail, or a couple of them. Well, X marks the spot, as one would say. Yeah, it's been a mixed bag, really, the past week or so. I haven't really done any uploads because it isn't worth doing anything because the skies have been pretty much covered. But one thing I'm going to show you in the morning right now, a very recurring thing, not just the leaves are falling down off the trees, which is quite nice, and it's the fact that we're seeing trails in the morning. Just a few, nothing too drastic. But yeah, there we go, look at that. A trail, mate. There we go. Some more trails. Oh, actually, just turn the camera around, there's actually more of them. There we go, X marks the spot, lovely. Alright, well, I think it's worthy of me doing a little bit of a catch-up, because it's been a few weeks, but it's been like this, guys. Trails in the morning, but then nothing will happen, otherwise the clouds would be completely covered like this. I put something on the screen so you can see what it's actually been like. Pretty pointless of me to actually do an analysis, because it's not blocking out the sun. This is the whole purpose of these videos. But yeah, X marks the spot. Oh, I tell you, I've got a plane right there. I'm going to go track it, and then I'm going to track the humidity. But you can see the consistencies of the trails, and not that it's quite thin. Well, it's big, but it's not condensed, like thick, like this. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's a different type of consistency here. They're very whispery once they spread out a little bit. But anyway, let's track the humidity. And track that plane, actually. Oh, it's definitely feeling like autumn. Oh, bloody hell. Right, okay. Let's have a look. So this is the aircraft right here, and it's traveling from Newcastle to Magala. Just checking it is on the right destination. Yes, it is. Yes. Okay. That's traveling at 37,000 feet. So yes, in the right altitude to give off a persistent trail. And once again, it's a commercial airline, which I always see. These are commercial airlines for sure. Right, let's have a look. Humidity. Oh my god, it's so cold. Oh, right. Okay, humidity 80 odd, 81. Kind of like yesterday. So yes, the percentage is high enough for trails to be formed in the sky. In fact, that plane that just flew past didn't actually give off a persistent trail. I'll show you what I mean. But yes, the humidity is at the correct percentage, depending on what website you look at. So there's the plane that just flew past. Didn't really give off a persistent trail in that area, I can see. But anyway, nevertheless, it did that. X marks the spot. Right, my bit in the morning. Right, I think that trail there was the one I was laid that I just showed you a moment ago, because that's where the X is. That was also the before this trail. So I think it's worth for me, as I spent the last 4 years studying clouds, how clouds are formed, potentially why we're seeing trails in the sky, you know, like a bit of a 50-50 perspective. You know, I had the science side, because, you know, that's how I research. I can't just stick down one avenue. This is sprayed on purpose to block out the sun, because the 4 years research and proof that I've shown on my Cosmic Twilight channel, which is the channel we're watching now, proves that has not blocked out the sun. Okay. But there's one thing I need to look, is to see what else clouds are in the sky. And I keep saying this over and over and over again. Once you see cirrus, you see trails. Now, there's a whole different layers of atmosphere which give off different types of cloud. I'm just going to zoom out. So obviously you've got trail 1, big X, longest trail with a few extra trails in the mix. Okay, right, so it's not littered. The sky is not littered with trails. But yes, trails do spread out to create a blanket. Not denying the chems, I'm not denying it. But at the same time, I've noticed once you have cirrus in the sky, you would have trails, because cirrus and the trails are in the same atmosphere, level atmosphere. Above, I would say, this is what science says, And according to the stratospheric aerosol injection, they say they spray in the stratosphere or base level of the troposphere. So it's around about 25,000, above 25,000 to 35,000 to 40,000 feet. I'm going to track that aircraft. Choose another X, isn't it? So, and this is what I do. You always track the humidity as well. Well, that plane there is not giving off a persistent trail, but the thing is, it might not be as high as this. Okay, so that's the science side of it. I'm just going to track this aircraft. 2 seconds. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Right, this is the plane flying from Dublin to Paris. It's travelling at 35,000 feet. And it's that, it's got Clover at the back of it. Yeah, Aer Lingus, here we go. I'm just going to track it right now. Might get a close-up shot. So yes, it's a commercial airline. 35,000 feet. Oh, am I going to see this one? Yes, it is. I can tell the blue tag, the green tag at the tail end. Yes, it's Aer Lingus Mule Cock and Balls. So there we go. And it's given off that so far. Now this is interesting, look, it gave off a nice big fat, well, you can see at the moment the same consistency of the trails being sprayed or laid, or condensation being part of this trail being formed. If you have a little look here, it actually faded out a little bit. So why did that fade out when the consistency were pretty much like that, like it is at the moment? Why is that area got a bit thin when you've got a big trail next to it? See what I mean? Ask good questions. Oh my god, it's curved. But yeah, so far we have commercial airlines and not Cessnas in a mix of this very cold autumn morning. Alright, let's have a look. So, what's it like so far? It's looking pretty good. Look at that, clear blue sky. Now, all the trails right here is now going towards London. Good luck, London. You're going to need it, especially at the moment. Good luck to you. And if you can see here, one small little traily trail. But we go over here. It's crystal clear blue sky. So we should keep an eye to the skies and see what happens for the rest of the day. Oh, look at this. Here's a corporate, and we've got another smallish trail in the background, even though we have crystal clear blue sky at the moment. Look at that. But yeah, check that out. We're going to see whether or not... Actually, it's not persistent. It's not really persistent. It might do. Let's track it anyway. Right, I think this is correct. Look at that aircraft. It's a what is it? What is this aircraft? Huh, that's interesting. Look at that. Never seen an aircraft like that. Well, it's travelling at 39,000 feet. Or is it? Hold on. Is that the right aircraft? Yeah, it is the right aircraft. Yeah. Well, there's one behind it as well, travelling at 35,000 feet. I'm just going to track if you can see that. But I think it might be this one. 39,000, look at it. Right, okay, let's have a little look to see if you can see the stripes. Oh, there it is, there's the other aircraft, I can see it. Right, so the one I'm going to show you now, 39,000 feet, and the one behind that, 35,000 feet. Right, here's the first craft, that stripy craft. Let's have a little look to see if we can see anything resembles stripiness. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is, look! It is, a stripy craft. Brilliant, fantastic. And look, we have Exhibit B, which is, well, that one there, I can't remember what aircraft it was. So that's travelling at 35,000 feet, and that's travelling at 39. So let's make the equation here. The science behind this, so this stripy craft, which it is, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. I want to see. It looks quite interesting. Never seen an aircraft like that. Yeah, it is, stripy. Way, like a dildo, isn't it? Look at that. So yeah, 39,000 feet. And look at that, it's done a U-bend as well. 35,000 feet. Let's go back on the flight tracker. Right, so yes, 39,000. It's not giving off a trail. That's a bit odd, isn't it? And that one, 34,000 feet. That's at Aer Lingus. Right, I might be able to capture these before... Well, that one's flying right over my place right now. Let's have a look. Right, there it is. There's Aer Lingus. And we have... the other plane, which is flying in that direction now, which is 39,000 feet. 39,000, 35,000. So this is giving off a trail. Oh, actually, no, that is what that plane give off. So why is that giving off a little small trail when that one is giving a persistent one all the way along, when that one's a lot lower than that aircraft that flew past? Oh, there it is. There it is. Here we go. I'm going to get a zoom in on it. So yeah, 39,000 feet, and it's not actually giving off a trail. But this one, traveling at 35,000, is, to a certain degree. Let's go back. There we go. So far, it's done that. Oh, we've got another one. Fantastic. Look at that. We've got another one. Okay. Let's have a little look. It's coming from the engines, obviously. Just track that. Is that the right aircraft? No, it's not. It's not. Right. Okay. Well, that aircraft, which is flying right over my head right now, is not showing up. It's not showing up. It's none of those aircraft right there, because I can't see two aircraft together. I'm going to show you right now what this aircraft is doing right above my head. So it should be where this arrow is right now. This is the aircraft that's not showing up. Okay, well, this is the first time that's happened. Let's have a little look to see what aircraft this might be. Might be military, I don't know. Let's have a look. Zoom in a bit more. It looks like a cargo plane, doesn't it? Yep, not showing up. Definitely not showing up. Let's go back a bit. There we go. And at the moment it's given off that. Also we have those in the sky. Okie dokie. Oh, it's actually giving off a trail. This is it. Kind of. Kind of. Well, it's fading out in that area there. Okay. And it's fading out in that area over there. Okay. Zoom in a bit more. Let's have a look. I want to see this aircraft. Right. Okay. I'm going to go on a flight tracker again to see. Oh no, that's the aircraft, you flipping idiot. It's travelling from the United States. So Dover to an undisclosed destination. Not available. Well, that's a bit odd. I might have missed it actually on the first way round. So 35,000 feet. There's the aircraft. Clearly. So I'm going to show you right now. That is that military aircraft. But is it giving off a trail? Let's have a look. Kind of. Bits and pieces. Yeah. We have another plane flying, which seems to be in the right altitude, not giving off another trail, and another one, and a couple of more. Interesting. All right, well, fair enough, Mr. Pigeon. Hello. There we go, that's the trail it's made. Interesting. All right, well, this is worthy keeping my eyes to the skies. I love days like this. Fun little experiment. Eventually we have this cloud cover coming in. But it's starting to colour up in that area, but bear in mind the clouds are starting to come towards my direction. So there we go. Yeah, see, you see trails in the morning, they don't do anything. Well, they piss off down north-east, south-west. And then the remainder of the day you might have a couple of trails, but nothing too drastic. So there we go. Ooh, okay, right. I just having my breakfast, and I've popped out to have a look at some decent trails. Look at that one there. Okay. Plane-wise, I think it's now gone way off in the distance, purely because the clouds are moving this direction. So that trail would have been laid all the way back there. So the plane's way gone in the distance. But normally when you see aircraft travelling from this direction to where that is, that's where London is. That is where Scotland is, alright? So that is an indication that normally you get the flight path, which is constant over my area, over this direction towards London. So, alright, we're just going to have a little look to see what clouds can we notice That's a lot lower than these trails, but it's the high altitude clouds that I really want to look at. Now this is interesting, check this out. From my estimation, I want to focus, put the arrow here, well, put my finger here, look and see, that there, you've got a big white sheen, which I think, personally, that is a trail, fully extended, in my opinion. What we got in the sky so far, 1, 2, obviously that was part of that one, yeah, so we've got two trails so far. So within time, it's going to end up like this, isn't it? Is it necessarily going to block out the whole entire sky? I think probably there's like 2 trails blended in together there. It's kind of difficult from my perspective, because once they spread out, yes, it creates a white sheen, like what we're seeing here. It does do that. And it has a particular type of look to it. It goes a bit quite stretchy. So the time-lapse video would be quite interesting to see on that one. In fact, I'll pull it up now to make my life a bit difficult when I'm editing the video. But just a perspective so you can see, my estimation is a trail, but can we see any cirrus? No, definitely can. Okay, never mind. We could track the humidity. So I think, if I'm going to track the humidity now, if the humidity is still high enough, maybe we'll get trails like this throughout the remainder of the day. And look, clouds like this, cumulus, always appears, literally always appears. It's nothing, it's a very common cloud, I should say. There's another question I need to ask myself. Is this going to block out the sun? If that's just 2 trails, blending all that together, it's a very, very small portion of the sky. I'm going to put up a sort of screen recording of Google Zoom Earth, so you can see it's a very, very small portion of the sky. It's not really going to block out the sun, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it's become quite see-through. You know, it's not a big, thick blanket, even though it is a white veil, but it's not thick enough to really block out the sun. It's tricky. This is why I come out and I do these experiments to see whether or not it's actually blocking out the sun, and it's not, because I can see the bloody sunshine on the trees. But there we go, trails. Right, we'll see what happens later on. Okay, a bit of time has passed. Well, 20 minutes, I'll say. And what I find interesting now, and I really hope the time lapse picks this up, because now we can observe. To me, it's a mixed bag. It's really difficult to see what's turning from a trail into a white blanket. Check this out, look how big that trail is. Again, guys, look, I'm not denying chems, but is there a logical explanation to what we're actually seeing in the sky? This is what I mean, but I'm not denying. But this is the point I'm trying to get across at the moment. Right, bear with me. Okay, I'm not a skeptic. I'm like I said, I'm 50-50 on this. Look at these trails, 1, 2. Primarily, let's look at this. Look how big this gets. It's quite big, isn't it? Let's zoom in, let's look at the texture. Very stretchy. In one way, it could be a bit gappy. But let me turn the camera towards the sun. Check that out. Right. The point I'm trying to get across is this to do with trails? Is all of that to do with trails? Sorry if there was a bit of wind picking up a little bit. You can see one trail in the middle there. What else can we see? I mean, if I turn the camera around, you can see there's that couple of trails there, but look at that, how big it got. Is it going to block out the sun? Right, first things first, can I see any sunlight on any trees? Yes. It's about 6 degrees at the moment, it's cold, so what's the point of blocking out the sun when it's 6 degrees? It's the autumn, for Christ's sake. I mean, it goes with the territory. But I don't know what's what in terms of what's caused what situation. Yes, a white blanket can be caused by a natural reoccurrence of the atmosphere with supercooled ice crystals, and this is called cirrostratus, which normally creates a halo around the sun. By the time the sun comes up a little bit, we might be able to see whether or not that we get a halo around the sun. Is it to do with the trails, or is it to do with a mixture of cirrostratus and the trail spreading out? I mean, in one way you could say that the trail spreading out does turn into cirrostratus, which I understand. I understand that. But is it going to block out the sun? And I'm going to say, is this toxic poison? Well, why am I out in it? For Christ's sake, you know? I mean, the people that point the camera up in the sky, you know, they say it was all toxic poison, but you're still going to carry on, you know, with your life and everything. Primarily going outside as well. I mean, it's just, if you're that afraid, wear a gas mask or don't go out, which is kind of sad. You understand my point of view from this point. But is this trail, it's a big trail, don't get me wrong, same with that one as well. I'm going to wait 10 minutes, I'm going to see what is what, because that trail is still continuing in that white haze. So this is it, we'll see. We've got one trail there that's going to make its way up, and I'm going to see the outcome of that trail, and I'm going to wait another 10 minutes for this. I want to see what this does. Very interesting to see how it spreads out, which you can see it fully spreading out. I mean, that's a trail, for Christ's sake, look at it. It's huge, it's massive, but it's not thick enough to block out the sun, because I can still see the sunlight on the chimney and on the trees. Right, the trail, I think it's right there. I think it's that trail just there, I believe. And you've got another one in that area as well being formed. You can track that in a sec. And so far, what we've got here, that's the end of the trail right there. And it's all gone a bit harpy or altocumulus, if you want to call that. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to track that aircraft. Just done that.
Righty tight, this aircraft is a Qatar cargo and it's travelling at 32,000 feet. There it goes.
So yeah, that's that Qatar aircraft, just done that. What an interesting morning. It's quite nice to sort of go back to the normal routine of tracking the skies with the trails. It's become a bit of a hobby, isn't it? So, you're probably thinking, oh, the skies are covered in trails. Well, actually, no, it ain't. One small faint one, but we mostly have this cloud cover now. So no trails, except for one very faint one in the sky. Right, a few hours have passed, and in honesty, it was pretty much like this, altocumulus. One can say harpy, or harpy, harp related, but is it going to change the weather? This is it. So what was the point of harp as an energy weapon? Is it there to change the weather? Well, let's see if it changes the weather. But my estimation is going to be like this for the remainder of the day, I think. So yeah, interesting one. Nevertheless, see what I mean? Stripey effect. Yeah, altocumulus. So there we go. It's been a pretty good day, actually. Bit on the nippy side, but all good. Once again, let's have a look at the time-lapse video on the 27th of October, 2025. God, we're flying towards Christmas, isn't it? This year has gone so fast. But anyway, enough of me blabbering. I want to know how much trails were in that sky on that specific day. The morning was pretty much, it wasn't covered, but there were some pretty big trails, and this is what I want to have a look at. So what I'm going to do, click play. Okay, let's do it. Let's have a look. So you can see there are some decent trails in the sky, but they're like singly and not like massively complex grid-like pattern, basically. There was one point where the trails really started to spread out. Bear in mind, I'm only seeing a very small portion of the atmosphere. But all in all, in that morning, it was pretty decent, I have to admit. That's where that harpy altocumulus cloud started to form. Now, did it change the weather? Well, believe it or not, I actually pissed down with rain in the evening, but I'm not going to contribute that to the stripy clouds in the sky, harp clouds, so to speak. So yeah, you can see. I'll just skip back. You can see some big trails, big X. Right, that's the point I was looking at. Check this out. I'm going to go back so you can see the big X, and you start to see this white haze start to appear. Wait for it. Now. You could tell it started to sheen off the sun. There we go. That was the point I was outside having a little look. So was all this to do with trails? I'm not too sure on this one. Because you would see it, trails stretched out. And with this, it could well be, but this is also a natural cloud as well. Yeah, that's that big thick trail. There we go. And you see what I mean? It's got a certain look to it. This trail right here, have a look. It's very, it goes individual. See, it goes very stripy. So it's got a certain look to it. But is that looking like this? Kind of looks like it, to be honest with you. So it might be a mixed bag in terms of the white haze. It could be contributed to the trails. If you just go back and have a little look, this white haze does form naturally. You can see it here start to come to fruition. Yes, we have trails in the sky, but I don't think that's really contributed a lot of it to this white haze. I think a majority of it is, but some of it is probably natural as well. There are a few trails in the sky, but nothing too drastic. That kind of looks like a person. Look at if I stop it, look. Head, arms. This is the clouds I find fascinating because it can give off these incredible textures. There we go. Bit of altocumulus. A bit of cirrocumulus in the mix. We've still got a few trails. And as it comes into the evening and into nighttime, you can see it starting to rain at some point. So before we end, let's have a look at the actual satellite feed because I think it's quite worth going through the morning, actually throughout the day, really. But we did see the trails during the morning, but I want to see if it popped up anywhere else throughout the UK. So we've got here 6:30 in the morning, and let's skip forward. And we want to focus on this area right here. So I'm just going to zoom in. Right, okay, we just see a few trails. I'll zoom out a little bit. It's going to be really difficult to see because we did have that big cloud cover. Okay, right, we do have a few extra trails down south. Let's skip ahead. Yeah, you can see them in this area here. But I want to show you the broader perspective of the UK. Now, up north is a different matter, but let's just focus down southwest first of all. Keep going ahead. And that HARP altocumulus cloud is coming in. Yeah, and then this massive, thick cloud cover starts to come in. And that's where it starts to go altocumulously, harpy, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, there we go. You can see a few trails in the mix there. Let's just go back. I want to have a look at the whole of UK. All right, let's go back to... Yeah, it's just coming up to like daytime. Now, remember up north, they had a few trails. But just have a look at the cloud cover we've got. It dwarfs the whole of the UK. Absolutely dwarfs it. So when you see a couple of trails in the sky, it's not really going to do anything. Like, have a look where Glasgow is, Scotland, up here. They've got quite a few trails up there. It's actually made a shadow. Look at that. Big ass shadow. But look at the cloud cover. And to be honest with you, the trails are not going to block out the sun in this case. They were very, very small. And bear in mind, my location over here was just like a very, very small portion of the sky compared to the whole outcome of the UK. And sure, you might have a few trails, but like I said, it's not there to block the sun because we have this gigantic amount of cloud that's dwarfing the UK at the moment. Look at that. So there we have it. On the 27th of October 2025, did the trails block out the sun? No, it didn't. It's never a failed experiment. I'm just analysing the skies to see what these trails are actually doing. Not denying chems, but what I've been seeing so far and have deeply analysed the sky, especially the trails and what they actually do, whether or not it actually blocks out the sun. And it has not. I shall catch you soon on the Cosmic Twilight on YouTube or Investigate with Nick on Rumble. I'll see you very soon. And thanks for joining me.